hopefully you get a bit of an idea of my vision for SAS Golf and the brand and the second-hand club fitting company, as well as Simon as the golf coach. Stuff doesn't last long. Like I put it on eBay, it goes quite quickly, so it's always rotating. Driver heads are adjustable now, so it does make it a lot easier to do a club fit or a second-hand club fit. Me trying to fill 7 to 5 years worth of different demo heads from different manufacturers, and hopefully it's going to work just as well, or let's say 88% as well as a brand new set, but at 10th of what they would cost.
I get it, I understand. All timing is everything, and the place that I found, location, size, what I need it for. It is update time. Raw video today, bit of a vlog. I'm going to give you an update of exactly what I've been doing over Christmas. We're not quite there yet, but we've made some strides. We've invested some money. I'm going to show you and tell you how much I've spent up until this point, because we've kept the ethos of the channel. Second-hand, basically everything to keep the cost down, as obviously these things can be extremely expensive. The one thing I want to stress is this place will look amazing once I've finished with it, but just like my golf bag over the last 3-4 years, I play with amazing equipment but don't spend that much money on it, mainly because I buy it second-hand. I have waited an extremely long time to have the ability to do this. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here. We're not finished. I've got some exciting updates, things that we're going to obviously look to improve on in the future, and I'm going to give you a tour around the new office. But I'm excited to announce it's at a point that I feel I can teach from this place. I feel like I can do second-hand club fitting, which we'll get onto in a minute, but let's talk money. Talk about what we've done. More importantly, thank you for the overwhelming support I've had over the last month, whether it's comments, likes, people offering a helping hand, because without all of that, this definitely wouldn't have been possible. I've even built my own website as well, which now is available for you guys to book in for coaching, book in for second-hand club fitting, and it's still looking relatively empty in terms of stock, but I'm going to update you on exactly how we're going to get around that in the next week or so. So you've seen the start, you've seen the vision I had 3 years ago, and you've seen where we started a month ago. Let me show you around the office, let me show you around the studio, then also give you a bit of an idea on what we're still going to improve on. For example, doormat. I need to get a doormat. This is a working farm at the end of the day. I should probably say at this point, that is not staying like that. I have got a solution for those cabling issues. How good do these bad boys look in the corner here? And I'm talking about all three of them. I got this for an outrageous price a year or so ago. I don't think I ever showed you guys me picking that up. That was £20 for that Hogan bag. Arguably one of my favorites. Obviously the tailor-made bag, £170 in lockdown, I paid for that. And the whole idea is to keep upgrading, keep buying. I haven't been looking too much recently because, well, my garage was getting full. And these are all going to be replaced. Again, the guys at Replay are going to be helping out with that. I'll talk to you a bit about how this arrangement is going to work with them going forward in the future, to have 20 of these bags down the side here, having another 10 or so down the side here as well. And potentially in the future, if we don't go bankrupt, that is, to have a mezzanine floor at the top here as well. Small little staircase going up the top here, projector obviously moving into the middle, and then having a full storage, almost a wine rack up the top end here, where we're going to have a lot more golf clubs stored, as well as a sofa, a sitting area, and everything else. So from the images at the start of the video, this room was quite dark. Well, there was no light whatsoever. My good friend Austin helped me out with the electrics, as you can see up the top here, and put them on 2 separate circuits as well. So obviously we've got a nice image on the simulator at the back there. And then again, I've done a bit of handiwork. with the LED strips of Amazon. This is all relatively cheap. And again, when it comes to the cost, and I'll give you a full cost breakdown of exactly how much we've spent, this has all been done relatively cost effectively. Chris and Gary did an outrageous job with the flooring down here as well in terms of the laminate at the back here, and again this was just concrete underneath, so the effect of having almost like the office area at the back here all the way into the studio bit where we're going to be hitting from, they did an outrageous job, and again I can't thank the boys enough. Speaking of the desk, which I couldn't imagine how good this thing has turned out, I have to say a special thank you to Sam, who watches the channel, actually been in contact with me for a very long time, almost about 2 years now, and has sorted all the carpentry stuff. He's scavenged from here, there, everywhere, and before they were sanded down, cut to shape, painted, they looked like just regular pieces of wood, whereas now he's done an outrageous job of building a new custom fitting rack. We've got Mizuno shafts with Mizuno heads, not necessarily the newer ones, but again, a good starting point. And a lot of you guys might have seen my previous video of exactly where I got these from. And this is just the start. We're going to grow. As you can see here, we've got some Ping heads. G series going to be incredibly popular. And I've got some Ping shafts, but we need to get some more. And as I say, over the weeks, months, this is only going to grow. But I've got a good amount, i.e. I know what kind of lie angle you're going to look for. I know what kind of regular flex, stiff flex, extra stiff shaft you're going to be looking for, and then multiple different head options. So we've got a good standing point. We know what's going to work for your swing, but let's have a look at a different manufacturer. Maybe you only want to spend £200 on a set of irons. Maybe you only want to spend £300 on a set of irons, and maybe you like Callaway, maybe you like Strix and Titleist. What your swing likes best in terms of performance, launch, everything else, with an update next week from Replay, who's going to be helping me out massively through this project. We're going to have a lot more stuff to try and test in-house. We want to try the equipment that we want to get fitted for, and I do understand that. It's going to be difficult because not only are we going multiple brands, we're going multiple years. So we can't have everything in here, which again is going to be the downside of this opposed to, let's say, a brand new regular club fit. However, if our collaboration, if our educated guest wasn't quite on the mark, or maybe you've had swing changes, maybe you weren't swinging it quite that well on the day, you've got a second-hand set of clubs, which you only bought for 300, 400. And even if you were to play with those clubs for 6 months, a year, realistically that set is still going to be worth somewhat the same value. That is the whole ethos. That is the whole idea of exactly what we're trying to achieve here. Let's talk a bit about drivers going forward, and the more I get in here the better. But to give you an idea, and obviously I'll have an update next week when I pick all the drivers up from Replay that they're going to loan me just to sit here, which I can't stress enough how thankful I am of them just to have the drivers in place so that we're going to be able to do this, not have half measures, but we're going to have 5 or 6 different drivers, whether it's forgiveness, whether it's distance, low spin, high launch, you name it. For example, one of the drivers we're going to choose is the Epic Speed, and we're going to have X stiff, and we're going to have regular, and we're going to have stiff. We're going to have 9 degree, 10.5 degree, 12 degree, all interchangeable, as well as extra shaft options that you guys would be able to find as well. And then we're going to do that with another manufacturer, Titleist. We're going to do that with another manufacturer, Ping. Then we're going to do TaylorMade. You get to the picture. And again, I can't thank the guys at Replay enough for their support this year. They've loaned me so many golf clubs to try and test, make content with, and again with their support here, it really wouldn't be possible because let's be honest, even though these clubs are second-hand, they still hold a decent amount of value, especially if you were to buy products from them that I suggest if they had it in stock, if you weren't to get on with it in a week, 2 weeks, you could return it. No questions asked. Take it back as long as you haven't destroyed the club, that is. Because even though it works in here, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work on your golf course. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work at your 8 o'clock tee-off time. It's the whole downside I find with brand new equipment. It might work great for that hour that you tested over your lunch break. Maybe you warmed up, maybe you didn't warm up. But ultimately, once you order that driver, take the wrapper off and hit it, you can't then return it. And the whole point of this whole process is if you do take my suggestions and you do get it from us or replay, yes, it will be slightly more expensive because ease of use and we have it and it'll be there next day. But ultimately, if you don't get on with it, you will be able to just return it. No questions asked. You just didn't get on with it. And again, that for me is really important going forward. And lastly, let's talk costs. How much did we actually spend on the room? My most proud purchases, as I had to go into the unknown of secondhand buying, just like a lot of you guys do with secondhand clubs, I have no idea about technology. Projector up the top there was £280. The laptop itself was around £300 or £350. Again, you need a decent graphics card to run virtually any kind of software when it comes to golf simulators. And normally they're around £1,000, £1,200 brand new. So we've got absolute bargain on that. Electrics around the room, so all the lights, and again, thank you to Austin and the guys. Austin didn't even charge me for his time as well, which I'm very grateful for. £700 to obviously put the lighting up in the room. Flooring, Chris and Gary, massive thanks. The Astro itself was around £250, something like that. Again, we haven't really worked out a figure in terms of the laminate and the PVC and their time, as they've kind of just put it on account, so I don't have to worry about it just yet. But I'm going to put a figure of around £800 to £1,000 to sort the flooring in this room. Massive thank you to Sam for obviously the carpentry work around the room. Again, he hasn't given me any kind of idea on price, and he just said that we'd work some kind of arrangement in terms of golf lessons, so you guys can put a value on unlimited golf lessons. Be sure if Sam wasn't in my life and didn't help me with obviously building this all around here, and the amount of time, I mean, he spent a good 2 days, 2.5 days in here, obviously working. I mean, that's gonna add up to close to another £1,000. Curtains I nicked from my mum's house. She is changing her curtains in the living room. So shout out to my mum and dad for obviously lending me that. PC3 from Foresight, currently on loan. They're around £8,000, which definitely isn't cheap. But for the data, and I really have to stress this enough, I have to have something in here that is very accurate. I can't do a club fit, I can't do a lesson in here and not have accurate data. And considering the alternatives, whether it's a GC Quad or a TrackMan, you're talking £20,000+. So I'm glad that I've got the entry point to obviously get this room up and running. And to be honest, that launch monitor definitely ties in with the ethos of this whole build. I pay £600 a month in terms of rent for the unit itself, and already paid a £600 deposit on that as well. So that's £1,200 obviously to start off the place. And then I'm gonna probably put around £400 for all the extra bits, whether it's the LED lights, the little heater that we have down the bottom here, as it can get quite cold in here. Paint for all the units, the paint on the walls, believe it or not, I have painted this whole entire room top to bottom. Yeah, and the projector mount, that was an absolute find on Amazon, 60 quid. That's been a lifesaver. And again, once we got the mezzanine in, it's obviously just gonna sit off the bottom there, but that definitely helped me out. The overall, I'm gonna say around £6,000, £6,000 to £7,000, and that's not including all the free stuff that everyone's helped me. People just giving me stuff, helping here and there, trading lessons, whatever it might be. So imagine this whole room, if I didn't have you guys, if I didn't have the channel, if I didn't have the vision, easily 20,000, if not more, 25,000, 30,000, so easily could rack up. But we sweated, we slaved, we begged, we borrowed, and we've got here. Guys, thank you ever so much for watching this video. I'll catch you guys later.